Hey,
Hi, guys.
welcome everybody.
In and out of our countdown there a little bit. I don't know what was happening.
What's the matter?
It looked like we were fading in and out of our countdown there. That's all right. No biggie.
Not that I am aware of, but you never
We're
know.
here now.
Crazy
Hello.
internet things. How are you?
I'm good. How are
Hello,
you?
everybody. We already got 5 people
Everyone's
watching.
rolling in. All our usual. It's like everyone's rolling in.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Jeff, Sue, Bill. Thank you for
Welcome
joining.
back
Martin.
to the distillery, guys.
Welcome, guys. Welcome. Anyway, so we're now in almost December. Tomorrow's December. I think it's officially, we could call it the holiday season.
We are in the holiday season. If anyone has a holiday sci-fi movie request,
yes, we're trying to come up with some holiday themed. It doesn't even have to be sci-fi at this point. Just something holiday. Well, I mean, we did a Christmas story last year.
Done
Die Hard, which are not sci-fi.
We need to do Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, that might be a good one.
Yeah, have we done it? Like, my memory's shot.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm writing that one down. Christmas Vacation.
Maybe we'll do that next week because we don't have nothing for next week. So, what do you guys think of that? Christmas Vacation.
Down for a little Clark.
What is it? The Griswolds.
The Griswolds.
Right? Yeah.
Yes. I should say it. Is this the airport, Clark? Is Rusty still in the Navy, Clark? Yeah, we're doing it.
Okay. I guess we're doing.
See, I do nothing. I have one job. It's stupid, but
now we're crisscrossing movies. Okay, so today we are doing Time Bandits, 1981. This is definitely a classic. But before we get into that, you have news.
I have news. 7:02. Time for news. I am gonna rename the news segment just stuff Mary Beth has found on the internet because that's pretty much what it is. Guys, where did I find that? A whole big sequel and remakes and stuff dump. Where was it? Was it? No, it wasn't. It was Giant Freaking Robot. Giant Freaking Robot dumped a bunch. Here's what they think is happening in the land of Hollywood right now. Number one, they think Kurt Russell is going to return for an Escape from New York sequel, which isn't Escape from LA. Another Escape from New York again.
We talked about that last week a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I might have.
Yeah, well, he loved that character, the Snake Plissken character.
Awesome.
He loved it. I mean, he really did love that character.
He was a great character, and the first movie was great. We did the first movie on this show. We never touched Escape from LA. We just did Escape. But yeah, so let's see what they do with that. Arnold is working on Running Man 2.
Really? Why?
Everybody's okay. I mean, Running Man has potential. I liked Running Man.
That's also, I believe, a Stephen King short.
Maybe it was.
It was based on one of his short.
Did we do Running Man? We must have. Yeah,
We've done Running Man. Yeah, we did it. Yeah,
we did, because it's another one of these with all like the socio-political commentary. Like, these movies are packed. Die Hard was packed with it. Not Die Hard. RoboCop was packed with it. The one we did last week was packed with it. All this like commentary just slides right in under the sci-fi radar. You're too busy enjoying the spectacle of it and
of the action.
Little do you know that corporations are being criticized left, right, and center.
Right.
All right, number 3. Carl Urban's back for more Judge Dredd.
Really?
Maybe it's in development. Now, the word's in development. That's a little fuzzy in Hollywood.
Somebody said, "Hey, would it be a good idea to make this?"
That could mean 2 producers discussed it over dinner. I mean, that doesn't mean there's a script or anything, but something. Taika Waititi is doing Time Bandits with Peter Dinklage. That's been thrown around.
Do you mean like a remake or a sequel?
Remake. I love Taika.
Yeah, if anybody could probably do it good, it would be him.
It would be him.
We'll get into it when we talk about the film.
Yeah, we'll get into that when we talk about Time Bandits. That was number 4. Number 5. Oh, brace yourselves, kids, because this one I think should not be touched. Fifth Element 2.
Ooh.
That's what I said.
Oof.
That's what I said. I said, ooh.
Who's directing? Is it the same? Now different.
Let me do a deeper dive into that one because I just wrote the I just wrote the kind of headlines here. Fifth Element 2 is supposed to happen, and here's what we know. Nothing.
I don't really get this. That movie was what, 95, something like that. So we're talking what, 20 something years ago. And
it doesn't need
25, 27. But, yeah, it's a lot. Let's put it that way. And why all of a sudden did they decide to remake that film? Because I think the thing with Fifth Element, and we all love that movie, is that I think that it was the director that, I mean, there's like, again, there was a perfect formula there that made that movie work, and I don't see them without pulling all the original characters, or I mean players, I should say, back to anyway. Bruce can't do it, so
no, Bruce can't do it.
The only one that could do it acting wise is probably Mila. What's his name is dead, right?
Yep. Gary Oldman's still around.
Gary Oldman's still around, but he died in this first.
He died in the story. There's no point. This is one of those rare unicorns. It's like The Princess Bride. You leave it alone.
Leave it alone. Don't ruin it by trying.
It is what it is. Yeah. Leave it alone. So yeah, and they've
tried not remaking it. It's a sequel.
It just said Fifth Element 2 in development, and they've tried this a couple times, and they killed it. They've killed the sequel or whatever it is a couple times now. So here we go again. It'll probably get killed. I mean,
yeah, I think they just need to leave certain movies.
Yeah, they really do
alone.
And finally, from Giant Freaking Robot, because they just had the headlines this week. I have more besides this, but from Giant Freaking Robot, Green Lantern 2024, James Gunn is confirming the Green Lantern is coming back to the DCEU, not Ryan Reynolds. He's pretty well committed to Deadpool.
I think Ryan Reynolds pretty much realized that he's never doing Green Lantern again, and I don't think he'll ever go to DC. I think he's pretty well found his niche.
I think he's found his niche.
He's Deadpool. I mean, you can't. Yeah, I mean, and it could there's like nobody better than him.
He's meta and self-aware enough to I could see him doing a little cameo in the movie. Like I could totally see him doing that.
Well, I mean, if you saw the end of Deadpool 2, where he
shoots himself.
He keeps shooting. He like literally shoots himself as an actor as he's picking up.
He shot himself doing the first time they did Deadpool.
Right, when it was in the Wolverine movie, which was a terrible version of Deadpool.
Really bad version of Deadpool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ryan Reynolds for
saving Deadpool
and fixing your own character. Well, it's not your character. Fixing the character.
They need to make a Deadpool. I think they are making a Deadpool 3.
Yeah, Deadpool 3.
They're always.
It's coming, and I can't wait. Yeah. All right. In other news, my favorite director, which you have not seen a lot of his stuff, but I love him, and I want to do an M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong Night. M. Night Shyamalan.
I haven't seen of. I
love his stuff. It's so good.
Roy says he's the Sylvester Stallone of Deadpool.
Yeah, he's.
I guess. I'm not sure what that means. But you mean like he's like Rocky is to Sylvester Stallone?
Is he like Rocky or which of Sylvester's many?
Is that what you mean? Maybe. I hope you're feeling better, by the way, Roy.
Yes, I do hope you're feeling better. And if Kent Schmidt's out there, I hope you're feeling better too. So. All right, M. Night Shyamalan is taking to Twitter to share a new poster for his next mind-bending feature, Knock at the Cabin. I don't love that title, but they probably had to go with it because Cabin in the Woods was already taken. After a lot of speculation, it was recently confirmed the film will actually be an adaptation of the Paul Tremblay post-apocalyptic novel, Cabin at the End of the World. It's going to star Dave Bautista, Rupert Grint, and Jonathan Groff. Now, there's a trio, if I've ever heard of. Like, you guys, Dave Bautista's Drax on Guardians of the Galaxy. Rupert Grint is Ron, Hermione, Ron, and Harry Potter. He's Ron. And Jonathan Groff, you guys, he was just in Matrix Resurrections. Did you guys see Hamilton? He was the king. Hamilton, so that kind of puts you there. Knock at the Cabin is set to hit theaters February 3rd, 2023. Breaking in Star Trek news, Terry Matalas tells Den of Geek and the rest of us he insists. It's really important, and I quote, to Deep Space Nine fans to feel seen, and Picard Season 3 is also a continuation of Voyager. We will be the judge of that, Terry. But okay, if you say so. If you have little kids, with the tag Same Shift, Different Night, Night at the Museum, animated Kamunra Rises Again is going to start streaming December 9 on Disney Plus. And finally tonight, I watched So You Don't Have To, and my review on both of these is, yeah, you should go ahead, give it a watch. It's not so bad. I watched So You Don't Have To, A Christmas Story Christmas. Cute enough.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched that yet. I haven't. Yeah,
I won't spoil anything. Cute enough. They did a really cute. It was nice. It was nice. It was family fare. The little kids will love it. And I watched So You Don't Have To, the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. I still want to do a group watch on this one. It was freaking adorable. It does include a few details.
I don't know how we pull that off, but
there's ways to do it, but we don't have to be together in the house.
I think you can do like a watch party still. Can't you do those things?
There are watch parties, and Disney will let you host watch parties, but they only let you have it going in 6 places. So we'd have to kind of, we'd have a party of 6, I guess. It's so cute. It includes a couple of details that you might need to know for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I'm not going to spoil it. It makes a character I love even better. Batman is mentioned. Mark Hamill has a blink and you miss it cameo. Kevin Bacon sings. And Rocky finally gets Bucky's arm. And a good time is had by all. Check it out. It is now streaming on Disney Plus. Or maybe we'll pull off a watch party. I don't know. I think it would be fun. It was pretty cute.
I have no idea how we do that, but maybe we can work on that.
Yeah, we'll think about it.
Well, I was going to say another one, which we were talking about. If you haven't watched it yet, it just dropped on Netflix. It's called Wednesday. It's based on the Addams Family character, Wednesday, the daughter, and it is her kind of separate story. Although Morticia and Gomez are in it. Morticia played by the wonderful Catherine Zeta-Jones, who still looks wonderful, I must say. Yeah, it's actually, I'm enjoying it. It's fun. It's got a definite Harry Potter kind of vibe to it. So because she's at a boarding school, and she's trying to solve some murders, and it's very, very well done. Christina Ricci is actually in it, of course, not as Wednesday, who was probably one of the best actresses that played Wednesday out of all of them over the years. So anyway, give it a shot. It's like 8 episodes, not a lot of your time. It looks, I like it. No, don't expect it.
Episodes. All right.
I want to see it. That's all you get these days. You don't get a lot. So, but anyway, I think
my watch list right now. My ever-growing.
I hope they have a season 2. Because I think it's pretty good. And the actress, which her name escapes me right at the moment, who plays Wednesday, does a really phenomenal job of that with that character. So anyway, that's all I have. Drink time. We have Tequila Time Machine. It's very fancy looking, but it's the
picture makes
prickly pear syrup, lime juice, and some blood orange juice. I'm sure if you have regular orange.
Is prickly pear? What is prickly pear?
Prickly pear it's a fruit. It's a type of fruit. It's not really a pear. I think it's closer to like a kiwi. If I'm not mistaken. So yeah, you could probably have to find some like in specialty shops or order online. I actually have some.
Order online, yeah.
Believe it or not, I have some prickly pear syrup.
Nice.
Believe it or not.
You do have a well-stocked bar. I will give you that.
Yeah. So anyway, all right. So moving on to Time Bandits, 1981. I'm pretty sure I saw this in the theater, although I don't have a specific memory of it. But always liked this movie. I did rewatch it. Does it hold up after almost over 40 years?
41
years. Because I believe it aired. Somebody had mentioned it. I think it was Roy might have said something. It was actually this week, almost to the day, 41 years ago that it aired. Yeah, it kind of does hold up. It definitely looks like an older movie, these movies. You know what I'm saying? The quality of the film, and I mean this physically, the physical quality of it doesn't seem to be as good as some of the other movies. Maybe that's just the way it was shot. It's very dark.
Yeah,
it is. I don't mean dark in the mood sense. I mean, it's dark in the
dark. Yeah.
Dark.
You're right.
I imagine that was probably done on purpose to cover up a lot of the practical effects that were, a little shoddy. I mean,
which is too bad because it makes a digital remake kind of.
Yeah, I mean, this is the only thing I think a remake would be really cool because it would add some really neat effects.
I'd like to actually see the thing. Yes,
but is it really necessary I don't know. The thing that always reminded me, it has sort of a Monty Python vibe. It kind of has a Baron Munchausen, remember that movie vibe.
I'm about to
Um,
discuss. I'm about to talk about that right
I
now.
mean, it has like this kind of mix. It's very British in a
Yes,
lot of
which
ways.
tells me because Terry Gilliam is the American one in the Monty Python group.
Right.
He was born in Chicago and then moved to LA.
And it has a couple act. Well, it's got
Well,
John Cleese
it's
and
got
Michael
John
Palin.
Cleese, Mike Palin.
Yeah, I mean the
We'll go
cast
see
is
it.
phenomenal. It really
The
has
cast
a
is
great cast.
phenomenal.
Yeah, so I mean, and it's an interesting story, of course. And you always wonder at the end, is it this kid's just dream, or is it just,
Exactly? It leaves you wondering.
It kind of implies that it wasn't, because he pulls the pictures.
Yeah, because a bunch of stuff happens that imply a bunch of stuff. His parents touched
and
the
parents,
although
his parents dying, I guess, exploding, and the poor kid's
That's,
just left there.
I was watching a review on that called "The Misunderstood Ending." I want to talk about that. This thing. So this is part of Terry Gilliam's trilogy of imagination, and the three movies in the trilogy are this thing, Brazil, and Baron von Munchausen. And the idea for Terry is that this thing is seeing life through the eyes of a child. Brazil is seeing life through the eyes of the middle-aged, and Munchausen is seeing life through the eyes of the elderly. Other than that, they have absolutely nothing in common. Like, they have no linking, nothing. There's
Yeah, it's interesting because I thought of almost all those movies watching it, and then if you look on IMDb, it says right at the bottom, more movies like this. Yeah. And you're right, it's Brazil, The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, Meaning of Life, Monty Python.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Here's what kind of kills me about this movie is when I watched it as a kid, I didn't love it. And I realized why as an adult, why. And I like it better now as an adult. This thing, has some pretty adult themes. Like themes of the parents abandoning him. And like at the end, they literally abandon him because they get blown up. But like they abandon him for their TV and their
it's also, it's a commentary on consumerism.
Yeah, the commentary on consumerism.
Because the whole thing, like the wife is obsessed with her kitchen appliances.
Yes. But the commentary on marriage as being not a good, like the whole Shelley Duvall and what's his bucket, Michael Palin, they never make all the relationships in the movie throughout the movie are bad. And the whole thing is this kid sees like growing up and getting married and trying to live. That's a very, very adult theme. And so they have this very adult theme running through, and then they do it kind of in Monty Python style where they don't keep the main thing the main thing. They go off on these little side quests and side tangents, and they're doing other things. And then it takes a while to circle back. Oh yeah, this is what we're doing. So as a kid, I did not have short attention span theater deficit. I didn't like that.
Yeah,
I get it now. Now I'm an adult. I can
I think this movie would have benefited from some tightening up. It was 2 hours pretty much, and I think there was some really slow parts to it.
Yes,
I think they could have. I mean, it was interesting. I don't know. I don't know how to put it, but yeah, it just seems like there were parts like when they're in Napoleonic France. Or
and Punch and Judy, and I love Ian.
The Punch and Judy thing dragged out.
He was fantastic. But did we need to spend so much time on Punch and Judy? I think it was to make a point about violence, but I'm not exactly sure what that point was.
Yeah.
Oh, Punch and Judy are also a married couple. Like every single relationship you see in the movie, like male-female relationship, is bad.
I never really put that together, but
every movie,
I wasn't looking really
relationship
deep into the film as far as what themes it was trying to show us.
Well,
because then it's they get really weird. I guess you get the couple there.
The ogre and
yeah.
And we know her from
what's going on there, and then the ship is like the hat of a giant.
Yeah, and the ship hat. We're not stopping to analyze themes and the fact that they aren't getting along. We're just going, hey, that guy has a ship as a hat.
Yeah, it's like what is going on?
Was he underwater the whole time? What was happening there?
He's holding his breath the whole time, I guess. I don't know. Yeah,
was he swimming the boat? The boat wasn't.
And then how were they steering the boat up until that time? Yeah, if he was, I don't know. You don't really need to get into that. So
that's the point. That's my point.
I guess it's supposed to be like a fairy tale land.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like that's my point. Is there are themes in here, but they're buried under the Monty Python irreverence side quests, side tracks. You're off on a tangent constantly, this movie.
Yeah, I mean the basic idea is that these helpers of God, the supreme being, We don't know him that well. And they goes, "You mean God? We don't know him that well." But that was kind of funny. So they steal this map that has
all the holes. See,
shows you all the holes.
Here's the underlying gist of that. God made the universe so hastily in 7 days that he left holes.
Yeah, there's holes.
They're basically saying God does shoddy work. Is what they're saying.
But then at the end, they basically imply that everything he done was for a reason. Like he said, like I you didn't steal the map from me. I gave it to you. Basically, I allowed you to steal it for whatever purpose he had, and obviously he never, he created the evil guy.
Yeah.
So
but he kind of yada yada that. That's like a heavy philosophical question for adults. This is like heavy philosophical. Like if God exists, why does evil exist? If God is omnipotent and then why is there evil? Like that's heavy adult stuff in a kids movie. And they kind of yada yada it. He's like, "Oh, I supposed to make a choice or something," and it's just like yada yada. Okay, whatever. I don't know. I don't like that. It's not.
I didn't dig that deep into. I mean, because we've seen God kind of as the doddering old man figure before.
Sure, we've seen God.
They've done that. That's kind of like always like when they seem to want to show God, he's never like this like whatever being of light. He's always some kind of old man that kind of is kind of so it kind of fit what we always expect to see in a movie, I guess. And I think they weren't really making any statements on, I don't think, religion per se. I don't know. I guess it's just my point was, I guess thinking that he was in control of everything. It was all part of his plan, regardless of whether you think that's the case. Probably the holes. You remember now we got why the holes were there from his helpers. We don't know that God may have intended that to be there all along for whatever reason. We don't know.
Like, okay, but he's omnipotent, so he already knows the.
Yeah, but he doesn't necessarily explain all his.
He's like, these little guys are going to abandon.
The guys that are designed. Remember, they just designed trees. That was their job. They would design trees.
It's mind-boggling.
And then they were downgraded to.
What's that movie where he goes? It's mind-boggling. What? It's mind-boggling. There's a movie. It's maybe with Will Ferrell. Somebody remember what's the movie where they go and it's mind-boggling, whatever. Anyway, all of that is not thematic for a kids movie. So
this wasn't marketed as a kids movie.
Was it not? Because every review I watched on YouTube, the reviewer was like, "I loved this as a kid."
Yeah, as a kid. I mean, but I don't think it was necessarily. I mean,
God need with PG. What does God need with Starship?
I don't know if it was really. I never got the impression. What do you guys think? Do you think this was supposed to be
a kids movie?
I never got that this was supposed to be a kids movie. Because like you said, there's a lot of adult themes. There's some kind of I don't want to say intense scenes. I mean, again, we have to always put things in perspective.
There's some violence,
but there's quite a bit of violence and kind of darkness. I didn't really get the bad guys. There
was some dark.
The henchman with the horse. What was like a horse head skull. And the hook.
Oh, was he supposed to be death
at the end? I don't know what they were supposed to.
Was he supposed to be death or
no? Because then he has the other henchmen that are all the little kind of dumb guys with.
I know which one you mean. Yeah,
but they're the ones that chase them through the castle towards the end.
Yeah. I don't know.
Bill's saying he remembers that they marketed it as a bit of a kids movie. I don't remember the advertising for this at all.
Neither do I.
I do remember a lot of people said, "Yeah, no, it was good." I went and saw it in the theater. I kind of remember the trailer for it. But yeah, I guess I could see it. I guess as a kids movie, it's not. But
it's a movie shown through the eyes of a child. Most kids tend to gravitate toward that crap.
He was like the most sane character out of anybody, which was
what a great little actor.
He was like the stable point that everything kind of revolved.
He really was. He was a great little actor. Just a little side point on him. He wasn't. His brother went for the audition, and he just tagged along. And they saw him. They're like, and they just liked him, and so he got it. I wonder what the brother thought of that.
Brother must have been a fun Christmas.
The brother was not like that. But yeah, so he was great, and he did like one other movie, and that was it. That was sort of
yeah. I don't. Again, being British actors, we don't usually see a lot of them necessarily. At least at that time.
But you're right. He did a fantastic job. He was the one sane one. Him and maybe Sean Connery. I really enjoyed.
Yeah, Sean Connery. Again, he had a small part, and I think again I don't know. Sometimes, well, there's really the whole cast when you go.
Yeah. So let me talk about Sean real quick. Sean, in the script, they were like, and then Agamemnon takes off his helmet and he is revealed to be Sean Connery, or as we probably cannot afford him, whoever most approximates Sean Connery. And somehow Sean Connery got hold of that, read it, and was like, oh, I'll do it. And he was shooting Outland. Sorry. Which Outlander fans everywhere just hissed at me. They literally just hissed at me. No, Outland. He was shooting Outland. So he came and did all the Agamemnon stuff. He went over and did Outland. Then he came back and did the fireman stuff at the very end.
Right.
And then he went back and finished. Like in one afternoon. He did fireman in the morning, and then he went back and did Outland in the afternoon. So yeah, so that was really cool. And it was his idea because Agamemnon was going to be killed. It was going to show up in that final battle scene and be killed. And he was unavailable. They couldn't kill him because he wasn't there. He was off shooting another movie. So it was his idea. He's like, hey, the character could come back as one of the firemen at the end. And it worked out. And that's why they killed him.
Which kind of, again, implies, you're wondering, okay, was it a dream? They do that in movies like this where they bring people and you're wondering if a dream, they'll bring characters that were in the movie so to speak back as other things.
Yes. Every single thing in this movie you can see in this kid's bedroom at the beginning of the movie.
Right. And they even show that at the end. They show like when the firemen come in and rescue him.
Yeah, they come in and
you'll see the tank and the whole spaceship and the archers and everything is right there.
And when you see the castle, when they're fighting evil and the Supreme Being shows up at the very end, you have this wide shots of the castle. It's made of Legos. Like the castle itself is made of Legos. So was it a dream? I say no. And I think it's because the photos the kid has.
Right, he had the pictures.
And I think which means technically he has the map because the map was in the photo. So now I think he takes out, now he has no parents, right? I think if there was going to be a sequel, it would be him taking off and using that map. And either going to find the bandits or going to find Agamemnon or.
Yeah, that was the kind of the sad part because he was happy where he was in Greece there. And then they come and they rip him away from it. And he's like, no, wait a minute. I want to stay.
I want to stay here. That was like the one good one. He. So, although you don't notice it because it's more subtle this time. But again, Agamemnon and his wife don't get along. And in real
when he announced that he was going to be his heir, the wife gave pretty big.
Yeah, the wife was
so he stuck around. He might not have lived anyway.
She didn't say much. I don't think she had any lines.
Here's the question.
Yeah.
In the beginning of that segment, when he falls on Agamemnon when he's fighting what you believe is a minotaur, but was it really a minotaur or a guy with a cow's head on, steer's head, bull's head, whatever?
I'm gonna roll minotaur.
It was, I think, because you never see he just pulls the head off.
I'm gonna roll
easy, like he just picks it up, like it's not.
And there's a bit of trivia about that minotaur head. And now, what was that trivia? Did I write it down?
So I was wondering, I'm like, were they trying to imply, because minotaurs aren't real even in Greece back then.
The whole thing's a fantasy. Let's just roll with minotaur. That minotaur head shows up again in like 20 something. They used it in some other movie. Hang on, let me just scroll through a bunch of dumb notes here. I think
saying the entire universe was in a kid's room. Here, I'll put that up.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was. Everything was represented in his room, which obviously was done on purpose.
The Minotaur bullhead prop was also used in Gladiator in the year 2000, which meant it sat around for.
Yeah, well, that's it. These movie prop warehouses are just massive, and they just
you can find stuff. We should just go digging.
How many sci-fi shows does the little laser thing tubes? It's been in Star Trek. It's been in Buck Rogers. You know what I'm talking about? Like 3 tubes, lights in it, and they just repaint it. That was actually a rental prop.
Was it really?
Yep. And the company, I think, just went out of business that used to rent all that stuff. So, that one thing. So,
well, you guys got to stop sending me a message while I'm on the air. Either type it in the comments or just Forget it until I'm done, guys.
What's the matter?
People are like
sending you private messages.
Yes.
I'm busy.
Talk about the movie. I'm like, guys.
Yeah, put it here. We're reading.
On YouTube, I'll see it. There's chat on Facebook. I'll see it.
You can see the chat, right?
Oh
yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Oh wait, you disappointed Sue. She's stunned that Minotaurs are not.
I'm thinking Sue was being sarcastic.
Phil,
I hope.
Yes.
Shatner commented on that prop, and yeah, that's true. It's right. It was in Airplane 2 as well.
Was it really? Yeah. Oh, Bill, you got good.
I mean, the list of movies that thing has been in, and they just redressed it. They repaint it, but it's the same prop. It's been in a bunch of Star Trek's next gen stuff. It's been in, like I said, it was in Buck Rogers. It was you just keep name a sci-fi space movie or a show, and it probably was in there. Yeah. I mean, it was like it probably was in Stargate. My guess. So.
All right, so we talked about Craig, we talked about Sean because he came up. Let's just run through our cast because it actually is quite an excellent cast.
Yes, that was the line, Bill. We paid a lot of money for it. It must do something. In Airplane 2. So I'm sorry. What was the last?
You were laughing at. We paid a lot of money for it.
Yeah.
Oh, we talked about Craig, our child star Craig. We talked about Sean Connery. Let's kind of run through the rest of the cast because it's an amazing cast.
Yeah. So you got Shelley Duvall, who was
fresh off The Shining.
Right, and of course, who played the best Olive Oil of all time.
Of course,
I watched a unique looking person to begin with.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's.
I watched that Popeye movie easily 50 times. Like I've seen that thing so many times.
Okay.
No. Oh, and Shelley. The other little thing about Shelley is she had just come off The Shining where she did not have a good shoot because she was actually literally scared, like legit scared. I'm sure you guys all know The Shining backstory. And she came on this shoot where she thought, okay, great, this is a comedy. We're gonna kick back, have fun. No. Terry was demonstrating like how to fall or demonstrating something and climbed up on something and fell on her and actually hurt her. Like she had recurring back problems from there on in. Poor Shelley. She just couldn't keep trying.
So she plays she's comes back again in 2 different scenes with Michael Palin,
and she's with Michael.
Kind of they're like overly proper couple, like
in the medieval or on the
medieval. Both times they're like in the medieval time they're like royalty.
Yeah,
they get robbed, and tied to a tree, and then in the Titanic one, he's trying to propose to her, but he has this like wart on his nose, and they keep mentioning you don't mind the wart, and then they fall on him. And he has like a toupee, and of course that was the line for her. No, I can handle the wart on the nose. I can't handle baldness. So that was kind of a commentary. Common.
Just because we're talking about Shelley, Dennis has never seen Popeye. Oh, Dennis, you've got to see that. It's maybe one of
Robin Williams as Popeye.
Best.
Yeah, it's an interesting movie. I don't.
The cutest baby in the world.
Yeah, Sweet Pea.
And Sweet Pea. It is cute. It's a musical. Just know.
Yeah, it's a musical. I love the sets and
the sets still stand. I think they were in Malta. They built the sets on the island in Malta. They shot the whole thing over there. I believe.
Amazing. It looked like a Disney ride.
Yeah, they made like a whole amusement park around what's left of the set.
It looks like a Disney ride. So that's it. Yeah,
it's cute. If you're not into musicals, maybe skip it, but it's really cute.
Yeah. So, of course, then getting on John Cleese, the great John Cleese, of course, he played Robin Hood in his typical John Cleese way. Very British, very, very polite.
Very British. And Robert, how long have you been a robber?
And how long?
The very, very bright bandit who's one of the little people pipes up 4'1". 4'1". Why, that isn't quite a long time. It's cute.
So,
but this is one of the little sidetracks. Like, we're off and running with John Cleese, and it's like, what? Get back to the main thing. You're either supposed to be stealing treasure or I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of does. The movie kind of does this the whole time. It's kind of this wandering back and forth around the story. So I guess maybe that's part of its charm. Is that it doesn't follow this linear type. But although time wise, I guess they do jump. They don't go in linear time. So they do jump back and forth.
Don't go in linear time.
We never go to the future, except we know that they can because he comes down in the spaceship thing.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
They never actually go to the future. Everything is in the past. So the first is Napoleonic France, I guess, or Italy or wherever they invaded.
Napoleon.
Yeah, and then what? Daddy goes to. Is that what the next one is? Greece, right?
I thought Greece was third, but maybe it was
after. What was after Napoleon?
It was Napoleon. Agamemnon.
Oh, it was the medieval. You're right. The Middle Ages. It was Napoleonic times, the Middle Ages, with that's where the people were tied to the tree. Then it went. Then he went to Greece. So we don't know.
Robin Hood was kind of wedged in there.
Yeah, maybe Robin Hood was.
And then the ogre and all that.
Well, no, Robin Hood was the medieval times, was it? Yeah.
Robin Hood was medieval time. Okay. Medieval times. So we're gonna go eat at medieval times.
Yes.
And we're gonna be Jim Carrey going.
There were no utensils in medieval times, therefore there are no utensils at medieval times.
But there is Pepsi.
There's no utensils, but there was Pepsi. Dude. If anybody knows what we're talking about, post it. Maybe we should do that movie.
Maybe we should do that movie.
Anyway, that was like the best scene though. The whole movie was at that.
Was the fight at medieval times?
Yeah, that was like the best part of the movie. So moving on, we had Katherine Hellman. We all know her best from Soap. She will always be Jessica from Soap. She always seems to play the same kind of character, this kind of bubble-headed. I don't know. And this one, not so much. This one, she was just wanting to eat people.
Yeah, this one she.
But I mean, in all the other stuff she does, she always kind of plays kind of a little. But maybe that's always kind of pushed on her because of what she played in Soap. She always played kind of this space cadet kind of. Yeah. But gotta love her. And then of course our favorite Ian Holm, from The Fifth Element.
From The Fifth Element,
among many things.
Yeah, from Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, been
from a million things. Yes.
He's such a great actor. Of course, he plays Napoleon.
And
it's funny because that was one of the funny things about that scene was his obsession with height. Everything because he's 5'1" or something, or something like that. He's all everybody was like everything in his conversation was always related to how tall they were. So kind of that feeling. Michael Palin, another Monty Python veteran. Of course, he's great in everything he does, and he just plays the husband of Shelley Duvall. Well, I guess
the suitor,
the love interest,
the would be, the would be,
right? And they pop up in two of the segments. Ralph Richardson as the Supreme Being, aka
that was kind of, I think, lost on Americans because the Brits would have known who he was.
Yeah, again, we didn't know who he was, but he again is pretty famous in British circles.
Pretty famous in
Chicago, stuff like that. He's been in.
But let's get to the good guy. Let's get to the best actor in this whole movie. Get to evil.
David Warner.
David Warner.
They have him listed as evil genius, but I think he was just supposed to be the devil.
Yeah, I think he was just supposed to be. Yeah.
He was just evil. That's why he was.
David is my one and actually only road tonight. David got to play. He is the man sitting there with that undiscovered little smile on his face when Picard is screaming, "There are 4 lights!" Yes, he played Gul Madred. Yeah,
he also played Chancellor.
Chancellor Gorkin in Undiscovered Country. Yeah, and he played someone named John Talbot in Final Frontier. He's had like 3 turns at Star Trek. And a bunch of other stuff. Like, you guys know David Warner. You just don't know that you know David Warner.
Oh, yeah. Come on. Everybody knows David.
And he's amazing. He's absolutely amazing.
So you're saying he was in an original series episode?
No. I wrote, let me read what I wrote. There are 4 lights, Gul Madred. Chancellor Gorkin in Undiscovered Country. John Talbot in Star Trek V: The Final Frontier.
Oh yeah, he was the I think he was like one of the ambassadors. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
I couldn't immediately call the character. I
He
was
was
too
one of
busy
the
screaming at
ambassadors
Four
that
Lights.
was being held hostage allegedly on the planet there when they go to. That's the whole point. The Enterprise goes to the planet is to rescue these people because they probably were taken hostage. But they weren't really taken hostage. It was just Cybok had done his little
Cybok thing.
Give me your pain. Show me your pain.
Yes. It couldn't call to mind. I was too busy screaming there were 4 lights. So
yeah, awful lights. Anyway.
Lights.
Let's see who else. David Rappaport, of course, we've seen him a bunch. You know, this is probably like one of the few movies where little people are like the stars.
Are front and center and not playing an elf or a
right. They're kind of they're yeah. I mean
that Peter him them.
Although their height kind of is a comedic thing,
but they don't necessarily use it. Like they're real people with real emotions. They're not.
One guy that wouldn't stop eating, which was Malcolm Dixon, a strutter. He would remember everything. I think it was his character.
David Rappaport.
That or Wally. One of them would eat everything. Remember, he grabs the rat when they're in the cage at the end. He's like literally bites its head off. He's like, anybody wants those? Might be your last meal.
Maybe last time we eat. Like, oh, that's disgusting. What are you doing? Stop. Put that down. Did you notice in that scene, like the whole time they're getting the rope? He's using the rope that it's hanging from to make the rope that they're going to escape with until it's hanging by like a thread.
Yeah, and it does break just as the.
And it does break.
Yeah, it does break.
Oh, it's just the things they do, like the little things that they do in this movie.
So Kenny Baker is actually also
Kenny Baker. Actually,
not in a suit.
And not in a suit. Most of this cast was in Star Wars in one or another iteration. Most of them were in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah,
Kenny and Purvis, one of them had already had like a stage show, the two of them, before Star Wars ever came along. Like they're already an established act. And then along came Star Wars, and then along came things like Willow and this. And, well, they weren't Willow. That was Warwick. But then all the other stuff came along. But there were far more roads to Star Wars, and not just with the little people, with some of the big people too, than there were to Star Trek. There's only like a handful of like behind the scenes people for Star Trek, and David.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't tap like Felix for this. He was doing a lot of acting. He was doing
a ton. Well,
yeah, so I'm kind of surprised.
Maybe he was busy in Hollywood. So.
But I don't know if Felix. I have to go. I actually have a book of his that
1981. Let me pull up Felix real quick and see what he was doing.
Well, he did Buck Rogers, which was what 79, 80. And that was when he did Tweaky, so he was still working quite. Yeah, you know what? He wasn't British.
He wasn't British, so they probably
that probably had something to do with it. Felix is Italian, so
okay. So
he has an accent.
In 81, he was still doing Buck Rogers, something called Under the Rainbow, and he did a couple episodes of Mork and Mindy, or a episode of Mork and Mindy. So he was around. I don't know, man. There were supposed to be 7 dwarves, or 7 bandits. I'm sorry, they're bandits, but they were worried that Disney would get mad that they're ripping off Snow White and the 7 dwarfs. So they got rid of a bandit.
Yeah, but does Disney actually own that story?
It's Disney.
I don't think they own that story because
I wouldn't cross Disney.
The story itself is in public domain, like Cinderella.
They own everything.
They own their versions of that. They own, of course, but I don't know if they actually own the story.
I have no idea, but it's Disney. They're a juggernaut. I wouldn't cross them.
You wouldn't cross them. I'll tell you funny. There was a daycare down in Tampa when I lived down in Tampa. And in their playground, they had a wall, like a brick wall, and they had painted the wall with Disney characters on them just for the kids. Disney shut them down. They sent them a season.
See what I mean?
For Disney just that.
The mouse
don't. It was just there. I mean, it was just there for the kids. It wasn't like they were selling.
Just little kids.
I guess it was a business, but yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. But I think the reasoning isn't so much about money; it's about protecting.
Yeah, it's
integrity of their IP, which is a reason.
It's IP.
It's not about money; it's about the integrity of their IP, and they don't.
And that's fine, and we understand that. Yeah,
I don't think we sued them. I think they just gave them a C&D, and they had to paint the wall. But whatever. But they are very
spread some goodwill to the community.
Yeah.
We're in Florida. This was a Florida community.
Yeah.
They were within driving distance.
They protect their IP probably stronger than any other franchise available. Yeah, they just
don't we know it.
You don't really want to cross them. So
anyway. Is that it? Is that everybody on our cast list?
Yeah, the rest there's a bunch, the rest of the little guys, Jack Purvis, and Kenny Baker. We already talked about Mike Edmonds and Tiny Ross.
Jim Broadbent. Guys, Jim Broadbent, who has since gone on to become absolutely amazing, is in this as one of, I don't know who. He's in there somewhere.
It must be an all cast and crew because I don't see him.
Yeah, he's a Compare. What is Compare? Compere. Let's look it up.
I don't know.
Nope, I'm on Felix. Let me get out of Felix here. Get back to Time Bandits.
Yeah, I'm looking. I don't see his name here.
He may be uncredited. That happens sometimes, but he is on the wiki page.
Oh, I'm looking on the IMDb.
Yeah, there we go. I just screwed right by him. Come back, Jim.
Anywho, so getting kind of looping back after.
That's Jim Broadbent. Oh my god, was he the Sorry, it came up with a picture. What was he? No, that's not Jim Broadbent. Was he the
I don't know.
The game show announcer.
Maybe. Oh, when they were trying to lure them.
When they were trying to lure him to make him give them the map.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with the actor, so I'm kind of not sure who you're referring to.
You guys know Jim Broadbent, right? Hang on, I'll tell you who Jim Broadbent.
Oh wait, yeah, here it is. It is comparing. Yeah, my guess is he. Yeah, I think that's who that was. I think he was the. He was
everything for a hot
minute. He was the game show host.
The game show host. Wow, he's changed a lot.
I think that's who you're. Yeah. Known for Moulin Rouge, Gangs of New York.
He's the father of Bridget Jones, if that means anything to you. Legend of. Okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I know who he is. I like him. Let's move on.
Let's move on. I was trying to think some other trivia about this film because it was, like you said, it reminded me so much of other movies that came after it.
Oh, really?
I think the one that reminded me the most was Baron Munchausen.
Yeah, that's Terry, though. I mean,
Which also had a very, there are a lot of similarities in the movies because aside from the look of it and feel of it, which is very similar, it had, a very extensive cast of that movie, Robin Williams being one of them. And it just seemed to be that kind of weird craziness fantasy. And it just, I wonder if some of those movies were boosted by this one. In other words, it gave it their kind of leg up.
I mean, yeah, that's a great question. I don't know. I don't remember how well this was received in the moment. Because if it's really, because he wanted to do Brazil first, and Brazil is a weird one. And guys, if you want us to tackle that one, I mean, I guess we can. But wow, that one's a little bit left.
One actually has, doesn't it? That's another one with a cast that doesn't have what's his name? I can't think of the guy. He's a huge famous actor, and it's like he plays this like bizarre part in that film. But anyway, you're right. Brazil, yeah, is that something you guys want us to do? I've seen Brazil a couple times. I kind of like it in its weirdness.
Okay. Well, we could try it. Here's the thing. He wanted to do Brazil first, and he was pushing Brazil first, but no studio understood it. No studio got it. No one in Britain was going to do it. So he's like, all right, I'm going to do this one first because it's a little bit more easy to digest. It's a little bit more understandable. It's, through a child's eye. It's for children. It's looking through a child's eye. And so he got this one made first. That kind of established him as an independent filmmaker, just as a filmmaker. And then he went on and he did do Brazil. So now, if you guys want us to,
how did this film do as far as grossing? Did it?
Oh, I have that information. Usually, where did I write it? Let's see. This thing cost. They think it cost $5 million to make. It box officed $42 million.
I'd call that a win.
That's a win.
It only cost $5 million to make.
Yeah. Yes, and you know who was financed by?
Like TV shows cost more than that an episode.
Yeah. Well, it was 1981. You know who coughed up the $5 million? All 5 of it, George Harrison. Why? Right. Because Britain was about to enact some wackadoo tax thing that on millionaires, like basically a millionaire's tax or something, and a whole bunch of these singers.
We should mention that George Harrison was a big part of it.
Yeah, he was the producer.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of richer people in Britain were suddenly like, "Ooh, I must get rid of, or otherwise
unload money before the government takes
$5 million to make a movie with. Here you go, Martin. Did I get that right? I don't remember. Martin Ben might know better than I do.
What's that?
About the taxing in the Britain.
Oh yeah. Well, That's why we had our little insurrection.
That's why we had our no, don't call it that, because you're gonna confuse it with the other bad insurrection.
The other one, the more recent version attempt.
Don't confuse it with that.
The other one was successful.
The one that we succeeded at.
When we threw the tea.
The one that Dennis Hostin would be like, yes, we did that too. We just asked politely.
Yes, and yet the Queen is still on their money.
And yet the Queen is still on their money. Not anymore. Now it'll be Charles. Now Charles is on
Charles. What do you know? How are they going to handle that? They're not going to know what bill they have.
They won't know. Oh, the colors. They're all color coded. It's like Monopoly money. They always know.
I know. I've had this conversation before.
All right. Moving on.
There's a funny video. No, I won't. That's just about. There was a fight at a hockey game in Canada, and it was in the stands. And it made me laugh because
I went to a hockey game.
Canadians being so polite, but apparently when it comes to hockey. The funny thing is, after they break up the fight, one of the guys like slams his head against the glass, just like being that, and knocks himself out. It's hysterical. If you ever see the video, you probably look at it. It's like so
the land of I am extremely upset. Have you guys ever seen?
He just like slams his head on the glass.
I'm very upset.
Knocks himself out. It's a great video. We digress. We're way off topic here, but it was. Go look it up. I'm sure if you Google it, it's pretty recent. So
if Dennis is listening, he's probably.
I just gotta laugh because we always say how polite Canadians are. It's like apparently only when it comes to hockey.
Not when it comes to
gloves come off.
Oh, Canada! It's right. It's right in their national anthem. Oh, Canada. Okay.
That's funny. Sorry.
That's not mine. You know who that joke is, guys? You know who that is? Anyone who did New Voyages with us? That's Jasmine Pierce's joke. Jasmine,
Canadian bacon.
Oh,
I'm not familiar. Or we're gonna make fun of Canadian because it's just ham, Martin.
It's just ham. It's just ham. It's got the yellow stuff around the outside.
It's just ham.
We taught you how to smoke it and cure it.
And probably a few things.
We taught you the deliciousness of fat and salt.
But but we don't have butter tarts. So
no, we don't have butter tarts. And Dennis Chevalier, if you could figure out a butter tart Yule log.
I know. I'm waiting on my butter tart Yule log.
Butter tart Yule log.
So maybe this year.
Maybe Super Troopers 2.
Every holiday we could do Super Troopers 2. So we did it with Fez. We did the first.
We did it with Fez. We'll do Super Troopers 2 with
Fez. Yeah.
Butter tart Yule.
No, the movie with John Candy.
Planes,
that was the movie. No, okay, yeah.
Oh, Canadian bacon. Oh,
yeah. That does ring a bell. I kind of.
Yes, it wasn't as funny as you would think. I remember seeing that, and yes, Dennis Chevalier, butter tarts are amazing. Are you Team Runny or Team Fern?
I wouldn't know.
I'll make.
Never had one.
I will make them.
I know. You keep every time. I kept telling Dennis.
Look, kids, it's a mini pecan pie. Everyone goes crazy over the butter tarts. They're miniature pecan pies.
Pecan pie.
Some people put raisins in them.
You say pecan or pecan?
Pecan.
That's what I say. Pecan. There's like a whole thing about that, whether it's pecan.
Yeah, when you live in the South.
Pecan or pecan?
It's pecan.
There's no E on the end. Therefore, it's pecan. Well, the E would give the long A for pecan. English 101. Come on now.
Cane. You mean pecan, like a cane.
Pecan. Well, I mean, yeah, it would be more like pecan. I get pecan.
Pecan. But like a tin can, pecan.
McDonald's Egg McMuffin. I don't know the reference there, Bill.
Don't know where you're going with that, Bill.
I do like an egg. Oh, because it has Canadian bacon on it.
Oh, Canadian bacon. Oh, is that what the bacon is?
Yeah, it's the actual McDonald's. You know, we were so funny. We're not even talking about this movie anymore.
I can't take these puns.
Yeah.
Nah. Do not start a Smarties and Rocky. Not Rocky. What's the other one? Smarties and don't start that, Dennis.
Sweet tarts.
Sweet tarts and Smarties, and then M&Ms and no, it's M&Ms and Smarties, Sweet Tarts and Rockets. Rockets.
I don't know.
Dennis, what are the Sweet Tarts called? I don't.
No, Jeff, you're wrong. It's pecan. See, we got people arguing about whether you pronounce it.
Yeah. We are in New England.
I say tomato.
You know, guys, I went and had my teeth cleaned, and my hygienist asked me that very question. She's like, "What'd you make for Thanksgiving?" I was like, I brought the pecan pie. She's like, "Oh, do you say pecan or pecan?" What? You're trying to clean my teeth? Just clean my teeth. Never mind.
I say pecan.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was.
Why would they start? I hate when
Why
they start
do they talk to you when their fingers are in your mouth?
I know. It never makes any sense, but they do it. Well, it is almost 8:00. I don't know what else we could say about this film.
Kids,
we all loved it.
We loved it. It was
a good movie.
It's a grown-up movie.
Does it hold up? Like if I showed this, I always consider like, does it hold up? If I showed this to my 20-year-old daughter, would she like it? Probably not.
Probably not.
I think we like a lot of these films. I think we like a lot of these films because they hold a place in our hearts from our childhood or from a different part. And I think, that really the answer for most of these movies is, would they hold up? No. There certainly are films from the past that do.
Yes.
As we talked about.
But I don't think kids these days have the attention span for this one. I don't.
No, like I said, I think if they tighten it up, if they remake it, I'm not suggesting they ever should. They need to tighten it up. It's a 90-minute film at best.
Yeah, it really
is. They could have really pulled a lot and pulled it tighter together. But again, I think it was just the way the director wanted it. Like I said, he was trying to tell these other stories. So Sue is suggesting Shazam. Well, we had talked. That's funny.
We talked about that. Yeah.
We had talked about that before the show. That Shazam.
I know. I've never
seen it. I know it's people like it. I'd have to watch it.
It's adorable. It's absolutely adorable. And there's a sequel coming out, so we may as well do it. Oh, we're supposed to do Avatar at some point in here too, because their sequel is coming out. Avatar in the 14th.
Blue people Avatar? Not the arrow on the head Avatar?
Yep. Avatar, we are one with
nature. We can do it, but I'm going to tell you, I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
So if you are a fan of Avatar, the James is the Cameron, right? Yeah.
Yes, James Cameron.
Let us know. Maybe you could tell me why you're a fan of Avatar. I visually special effects. It was amazing. I'll give it that.
Yeah,
the story was just not working for me. So, there's Tilly.
Yeah,
she looks like she's sleeping in your arm.
Yeah, she is.
Like her arm. I have Ripley's right here. Completely. I'm surprised you don't hear her snoring. So, all right, it's 8:00. What does Roy? Is Roy back on yet, or is he still?
No, Roy's still recovering. We did wish him a happy recovery. We hope he is feeling better. Because he's recovering from COVID, he pushed his Chi Chi Bang Bang I Love You show till Friday, right, Roy? And then his Space 1999 conversation with Phil got pushed to Sunday.
I could put it up here.
And then Phil, where did I put yours? Phil this week is going to have me talking and others, not just me. Me and some kids from WUSB Stony Brook. We talked to an amazing composer from Dubai, actually. We talked to her. She was in Dubai. Amanda Falkenberg, who did that symphony about all the moons in the solar system, Io and Europa and Callisto or Callista and our moon and all of them. And it was
kind of a little
a
bit of like
fascinating
a
conversation.
Holst, the
That'll
planet.
be
kind of a thing.
that'll be Thursday. And then Friday 9 to 11, he is of course going to do Friday Freeform. And I've made some requests, which he probably won't play. So
You're like becoming Phil's like regular sidekick on his stream.
sometimes, yes, he makes me listen to this music that I ordinarily wouldn't ever get exposed to.
Well, we make you watch, Phil makes you listen.
Yeah,
so.
you make me watch and Phil makes me listen. So what a life. that ain't right. That ain't right.
No.
So all right, kids. I hope you all had a good Thanksgiving. We are now, this is it. Tomorrow's December 1st. This is it. Final stretch of the year, guys.
Did we decide what we're doing next week? By the way, we had decided we're gonna push the Planet of the Apes.
We're gonna push because there's like 5 movies.
We're gonna we need time to kind of
I can't watch 5 movies in 1 week.
just
I
haven't
am
had
gonna
time
need
to. Yeah, it's hard to do it watching other stuff. And
Phil says checks in the mail.
Yeah.
Yes, so we are gonna push Planet of the Apes. We will come up with 4 for how many weeks we got. 4 good ones for Christmas this month. And yeah, we'll take it from there.
Yeah, we'll come up with some stuff, but yeah, we'll figure it out. We always do. So all right, on that note, we will say good night and live long and prosper. We'll see you next week. Try to remain safe. If you're in the path of the storm that's in the Northeast, I hope you're staying dry. Right now. Yep. And hopefully it doesn't affect anybody's power or anything. It's supposed to get very windy. So, all right, guys, good night. We'll see you next time.